Hello everybody, Council Member DeCosta here today. We're doing a recap on today's council meeting. We were discussing tax reform with 4 bills. Let me start with Bill 2901. I wanna commend our council chair, Mel Raposo, who put a lot of time and energy into this bill. And doing tax reform with all of our council, to come up with a better way to give tax benefits to people who deserve it. And one of the sections, actually section 1 and 2, talks about increasing home exemption. We wanted to increase from $160,000 to $180,000. That's a plus $20,000 increase on the exemption. We did have a amendment that came in by Councilmember Cowden. It was a good amendment. It did increase the exemption up to $220,000. I voted against it, and I tell you why. Sometimes I think our constituents, instead of receiving that extra $56 in their property tax bill reduction, they would want to see better amenities throughout Kauai, better county parks, better baseball fields, better amenities for our children to enjoy. And remember, when you give a tax break, somehow we gotta recover those taxes from other entities. And I wanted to make sure that when we're giving a tax break to our local residents, we are now not gonna tax them in the future to make up that revenue. We're gonna tax the appropriate categories. So on the 2901, that bill passed. And I wanted to talk a little bit about there was a section in here about the 20% increase. Well, actually, let me just, it was in section 11, but I'm going to move on to the next bill, which covers that section 11. It's called 2902, where we talked about Council Chair Raposo's introduction of a 20% cap across the board, which means that everybody's property, homeowners, commercial, non-owner occupied renter properties, hotels, TDRs, timeshares, condos would all get a 20% cap. And it sounded good, but I took the liberty to dig a little deeper and do an amendment. So on the floor, my amendment would categorize, since we have homeowner occupied, which means Billy DeCosta owns a home, he gets a tax break. Right now, the tax break we have is $2.59. We have a 3% cap in place, which doesn't allow our property taxes to go up above 3%. There's also the long-term rental program that is provided by the county, that if you own a second home as a local resident and want to rent it out to make some income, you rent it out at what the county call their 90% AMI, which basically means you can only charge a certain amount of rent. For example, for a 2-bedroom, you can only charge $2,200, which would include the utilities. And then the last one is a commercial home use, which they also are protected by a tax class. What I did was my amendment would now include the non-residential home category, which allows people to have a second home, rent it out, not at the affordable rent, because sometimes different geographic areas like on the north side of the island, the rents are a little more expensive. So we wanted to make sure that people are not getting assessed higher than 20%, so they're not having to put that extra property tax from the landlord back to the tenant. So with this amendment, it's going to make sure that properties across Kauai that are either owner occupied and or non-owner occupied, but in a rental program, even though they're not with the county, but they're renting it out, they're going to have a 20% cap. So with my amendment, we're only going to take care of those people that are renting out their second home to our local residents. Most of the large estate holders don't rent out their property. They build a mansion and they live on it. The next bill is 2903. And bill number 2903 was moved and received by myself and second by Councilmember Cowden, who actually introduced the bill. And her reasons behind it was that she felt comfortable enough that with my amendment that I did on 2902 with the 20% cap for the non-residential renters who were doing that would now be protected. Received means we kill the bill. It's done. The bill would have proposed a different AMI class, annual income class, which would allow people now to rent homes under this new program and get a tax break. And the rent they could charge is anywhere from a 2-bedroom or going for $2,200. Now that 2-bedroom would go for $2,500. The 3-bedroom would go from $2,300 going for $2,700 or $2,800. The 4-bedroom would be almost $1,000 more. We cannot create categories that allow people to rent homes per month for $1,000 more a month. What local family can pay $1,000 more a month? And the last bill is 2904. This bill was also received by myself and killed by Council Member Cavallo. And I tell you why we killed it. This bill allows for married couples that don't want to live together anymore. They want to separate. But they also want to have a home exemption on both of their homes. Right now, our county already has a program that if you legally get divorced, you can have a dual home exemption. We don't support people that want to beat the system. So my thing to the rest of the council was we don't do bills, we don't do legislation for a select group of people. Very interesting meeting today. 4 important tax reform bills were looked at. One was passed. 2902 was deferred to November 8th. That's when we're going to work with Council Chair Raposo on. And then 2 of them were received and killed. But I want you to know that this council is looking out for the best interests of Kauai. Come on and watch our council meetings on Hawaii TV weekly. Thank you.